The story of the Lost Dutchman mine began with the Peraltas, a family of Spanish prospectors who were searching for gold back in the 1840s. According to legend, they found some very rich deposits in the Superstition Mountains.
To many miners looking for treasure in the American Southwest, particularly in modern-day Arizona, the Apaches were a real threat.
The Apaches, seeing that the Peralta family was getting ready to take all the gold that they had secured so far, decided to lay a trap for them. And from what I understand, they killed everyone except for one little boy who was hiding in a bush not too far away. They spared him, and he is the one that was the eyewitness that told the entire story.
It is believed that after the massacre, the Apaches buried the Peralta's gold, then covered up the mine in an effort to restore the land to its natural state.
Now, the Apaches considered that mountain sacred, and of course, they put a curse on any Anglo who would tread on their mountain.
At the end of the Mexican-American War, 20 years after the Peralta family was ambushed in the Superstition Mountains, Mexico ceded much of Arizona to the United States. Hundreds of prospectors immediately descended upon the area, hoping to strike it rich. One of those men was an immigrant turned citizen named Jacob Waltz.
Jacob Waltz was an immigrant to the United States from Hortenberg, Germany, followed the gold trails into California, and when he'd come into Arizona, sometime between 1865 and 1868, we believe he located what's known now as the Lost Dutchman mine.
The Dutchman mine was more than likely one of the Peralta mines. Jacob Waltz probably went in there and chipped out some very rich pockets of gold. And the story of the Dutchman mine grew and grew. But it's a misnomer because when German immigrants came to America, they were called Deutsch, which is German, Deutschmann. So Deutschmann just got mistaken for Dutchman.
During that era, you were supposed to tell everybody else where your rich mine was. Jacob Waltz didn't do any of that. He kept his mine a secret, and they really did not like that. And people had followed him through the 1870s to try to find out where his mine was.
If he thought he was being followed, he just kept right on going into the mountains and took them on a merry chase. That's common knowledge.
To this day, no one knows where Jacob Waltz's mine was located or how much gold he had collected. But one thing is certain: the treasure made him a very wealthy man.
He has no money, has nothing. But within the next year or so, Waltz builds an adobe house, builds outbuildings, he has geese, he has ducks, he's farming, he's doing quite well. One of the oral histories we have is that Waltz actually had a locking door and locking shutters on his windows, which is unusual for that time.
According to researchers, Jacob Waltz had a good reason for closely guarding the location of his mine, as it was there that he claimed he had discovered hundreds of pounds of rich gold ore.
The description we get from the mine from Jacob Waltz is it's popcorn kernels of gold running through quartz, locked in hematite. He's saying it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars of gold. Well, the price of gold at that point, what would that be now? Billions, trillions? Probably more than anything he could have imagined.
In the decades following his incredible discovery, Jacob Waltz remained an intensely private man. Although he was known to have very few friends, there were some notable exceptions.
He made friends with a woman named Julia Thomas. She was 1/8 black. Her mother had been a slave, but she was raised in a household that speaks German.
Julia Thomas lived in Phoenix, close to where the Dutchman was. She ran a bakery. Supposedly, she had a lot of money problems, and Jacob Waltz helped her.
In February of 1891, when a flood washed away Jacob Waltz's home, Julia Thomas returned his kindness. She invited him to live with her and her roommate, a German-speaking immigrant named Reinhard Batrash.
So Waltz has friends that all speak German. And this is probably important because while we know he probably spoke English, we don't know how comfortable it would have been for him at the time.
As with most of the circumstances surrounding his life, those involving his death remain shrouded in mystery. in October of 1891, as Jacob Waltz lay on his deathbed, gasping for breath, most likely from pneumonia, Julia Thomas ran for a doctor, leaving the octogenarian prospector in the company of an acquaintance by the name of Dick Holmes. When she returned, Waltz was dead, and Dick Holmes had vanished, along with an item of extraordinary value.
When Jacob Waltz died, he had 48 pounds of very rich gold ore in a candle box under his bed. Do the math. And that was back then. Think what it's worth today. Gold was $16 an ounce then. It's $1,600 an ounce today.
Did Waltz give the box of gold ore to Dick Holmes in the moments before his death? Or was it stolen? And did Waltz ever disclose, either to Holmes or Julia Thomas or their friend Reinhard Petrasch, the actual location of the Lost Dutchman mine? These are among the questions that have kept researchers and treasure hunters guessing for more than a century.
What fascinates me most about the Lost Dutchman mine is that there is gold ore that came from Jacob Waltz. And the question is, where did it come from? And nobody has been able to answer that yet.